So here's Module 5, Lesson 4 homework. We began working on fraction equivalencies, which is not the same as reducing fraction. The standard for 4th grade is fraction equivalencies. So knowing that 1/2 equals 2/4, 5/10, so on and so forth. Okay, so the first one, they've done the example for you. So we're going to ignore the hash marks at first. So here, this piece is split up into two parts. So we have 1, 2. So the shaded part is 1/2. After that, we are decomposing the shaded unit fractions as a sum of smaller unit fractions in at least two different ways. The first one is done for you. So they chose to split each part up into thirds. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total parts. So each one of these is worth 1/6, 1/6, 1/6. And we're showing that 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 equals 1/2. And I was having the kids write that in there as well, just so that they can see that 1/2 equals all those added up, but it also equals 3/6. Over here, they split it up into fifths, each half into fifths, so that gives us 10 parts. So each singular part is 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, 1/10, and then when you add it up, it's going to equal 5/10. Okay. So now the ones we need to do ourselves. We started with fourths. Okay, we have shaded 1/4. When you cut each one in half, which is what they did, we are now left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. So each one of these is worth 1/8. So we add them up. So we get 1/4 equals 1/8 plus 1/8, which equals 2/8. Same thing over here. We have the 1/4. They split that up into fourths. So we have 4, 8, 12, 16 total parts. So each one of these is worth 1/16. So it's still 1/4 equals 1/16 plus 1/16 plus 1/16 plus 1/16. And that equals 4/16. So it's important that they put whatever the added up fraction is and what the original fraction was so that they can see the equivalency that 1/4 actually equals 4/16. Okay. Number 2, the total length of each tape diagram represents 1. Decompose the shaded fractions as the sum of smaller unit fractions in at least two different ways. So the whole thing is 1. Okay, our original fraction here, we have 3 shaded out of the 4 total, so we have 3/4. I'm just going to cut them in half. I think that's the quickest and easiest way. So now we have 8 total parts, so we have 3/4 equals, each one of these is worth 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8. And that equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eighths. Okay, so 3/4 equals 6/8. Over here, I'm going to do it up into thirds. So each section is going to break up into 3 parts. So now we have, again, we need to identify that as 3/4. So now we have 3, 6, 9, 12. So we have 3/4 equals, and we're going to add up 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12. And we're going to do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Six, 7, 8, 9. And that equals 9/12. So 3/4 equals 9/12. I'll do one more of these just so you get the picture. So we're cutting them in half. Start with that. So this whole fraction here, our original is 4/5. So we get 4/5 equals, and then since we cut our fifths in half, we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. So each one is worth 1/10. So 1/10 plus 1/10 plus 1/10 plus 1/10 plus 1/10 plus 1/10. How many do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus 1/10 plus 1/10 equals 8/10. And again, over here, we have the same fraction of 4/5, but we're going to break it up into more parts. Okay, so same thing down here. I think we get the point at that one. So now here, draw a tape diagram to prove the following statements. The first one has been done for you. So what I would suggest doing on these is going with the number with the smaller denominator first. Okay, so we're going to make our tape diagram, and we're going to break it up into sixths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're going to shade 3/6 because that's what it's asking for. So we identify that up top here as 3/6. Okay. Now to get from sixths to twelfths, we're doubling it. So we're going to cut each of these in half. And so underneath here, we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6/12. Okay. Same thing for these next two. We're just drawing the tape diagram. We don't actually have to write any addition or anything like that. So I'll do D here. Okay, so we're splitting it up into fourths because that's our smaller denominator. So we have 3/4. So we're going to shade that. Okay. This part up here is 3/4. And we're going from fourths to sixteenths. So to go from 4 to 16, we have to multiply by 4. So we have to cut each of these into fourths. Okay. So now how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that gives us 12/16. Okay. Down here at the bottom, we're doing a tape diagram like we did right here, but then we're also adding a number sentence. So we're going to do what we did on the front, where we had 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 equals 6/8. Okay. So let's do show that 1/2 is equivalent to 6/12 using a tape diagram and a number sentence. So if we do our tape diagram first, we have 1/2. Okay, that's 2. We're going to shade half of it. And to go from halves to twelfths, we need to split this up into 6 parts because 2 times 6 gives us 12. So that's how we're going to split it up into twelfths. Okay, so this here is our 1/2. I don't give you a whole lot of room on these. And each one of these is worth 1/12. Okay, so like we did in the last lesson, instead of actually adding them all up, how many twelfths do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can do 6 times 1/12 equals 1/2. Okay, and we're good with that. Or if they want to, they can do 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12. And I'll do this one here because there's a couple different ways we can do this. So we have 2/3. So we're going to shade our 2/3. So that's this. I'm just going to draw a line. Now we want to go from 2/3 to 8/12. So to go from 3 to 12, we have to multiply by 4. So we're going to break these up into fourths, each part. Okay, so each one of these is worth 1/12, 1/12, 1/12, 1/12, 1/12, 1/12, 1/12, and 1/12. So if we want to look, we can look at this a couple different ways. You can add up all of these together. Let's get 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12, so on and so forth. Or you can look, you have a total of 8/12. So you can do 8 times 1/12 equals 2/3. Or you could look at it as each singular third. So that would be from here to here where we have 4/12. So you can do or 4 times 1/12 plus the second third, which is over here. So we have 4/12 plus 4/12. So that's another way you can do it. So you can do 4 times 1/12 plus 4 times 1/12. And that's your other option. So this one's going to be very similar. Do 4/5 into 12/15. So I know it's confusing. It's a lot of work. But it's very important that they understand. This is a good visualization for them to understand why fractions are equivalent. So that was Lesson 4, Module 5.